What do you think? It's Tuesday. Does Tuesday have a feel? Yeah, it feels kind of in between. Kind of feels in between Monday and Wednesday. In between weather systems. Very exciting morning, I think. We've set a record, at least so far today, with a low temperature of 54 in Burlington, Vermont. The old record high-low was 52 in 1915, I think. A long time ago. Oh, wow, we got a huge cruise ship coming into Boston Harbor right now. Boston, I don't know, it's about 46 degrees here. Worcester, Massachusetts, 52. Just missing the record high-low temperature. And meantime, Augusta, Georgia this morning is 37. And we have a record low temperature in Elizabeth City, North Carolina. It's 31. 23 degrees colder in eastern North Carolina than northern Vermont. It's called warm air advection, and it always shows up in the Champlain Valley first. When we have low pressure going to our north, high pressure to the south. It was a record cold high, still is in North Carolina. Anyhow, the gradient creates strong southwest winds, and there is a wind advisory for northern New York this morning. We have red flag warnings in effect throughout much of the central part of the country and here in the northeast. Careful with your matches. Yesterday, I think there was, 60-acre fire in Maine, so it's that time of year. Dry fuels. Yeah, dry fuels, Tim. Dry fuels. I wouldn't burn this time of year. But the hoses are coming out, so, be careful, right? We've got some altocumulus up there. We've got some birds, robins. The birds going nuts. So are the insects lately. It's springtime, and anything can happen. Challenges to the forecast right now, how warm it's going to get today. We are going to have an offshore wind. Yesterday it was about 50 in Swampscott, while it was 65 in Norwood, something like that. And my flag yesterday kept coming in from the east and the northeast, but I still managed to get in lower 60s. But today, there was a strong enough pressure gradient. Yesterday it was kind of a high barometer. It's easier to move the air when you get a lower barometer, so we are going to end up with all of us warming to close to 70 today. And then there is a front coming in tonight, and it's going to be slightly colder air coming into far northern New England, but that may end up kicking our wind in from the ocean tomorrow, so maybe a couple of degrees cooler near the ocean tomorrow, inland still warm. And then there's a strong storm going to our north on Thursday, and that's the day we should all get into the strong southwest winds. Maybe not in Maine, and that should push us into the low 80s, but it looks like Friday is probably the warmest day. Low 80s inland Thursday. And then we should all get the record warmth on Friday. I think the record for Boston is about 82 or so, and I think we're going to break that. Hey, we're working over here. What are you doing? What are you talking to? Are you saying happy birthday to Finn, who's out there not interested in the deer this morning? Thank you, Joe, and happy second birthday, Finn. One of these days we'll cross paths. So the interesting weather is going to come in really over the weekend. There's a low pressure system coming out of the Gulf of Mexico. Looks almost tropical, but it's going to weaken. This is the moisture at 700 millibars, and the blue is the high relative humidity. And you can see that circle coming right up out of the Gulf of Mexico and then kind of just dissipating over New England. The GFS has Boston at 50 on Saturday. The euro is in low 60s. Here's the 14-day from the euro, and that's kind of right in the middle of the road, but you see the shade spread in the blue and the red. That's the possible high temperatures in the 50s, 60s, or even near 70 Saturday. And Sunday, probably starting to get some showers in here Sunday, if not fog and drizzle Saturday. So when you have 5 beautiful days in a row, you got to think it's going to change. So the weekend is going to go downhill a bit, but it doesn't look too bad. As for, going north, I know I talk about skiing, but everyone's like, no one's going skiing. Well, some people are skiing. At J, though, you got to be careful. David says, one trail yesterday was closed at J Peak for bear activity. Bear activity? What does that mean? And so if I wasn't out of commission, I'd be doing a lot of pruning and fixing things, but only one arm really works. Oh, the birds being birds. So I'll just let you go now, and I'll leave you with some sights from the front yard and Great Hill Park. And I really want to do some pruning. And all those bugs, some of them must have been babies. It seems like they didn't really know what they were doing. Talk to you later. Oh yeah, one more thing. I did want to mention, if you're looking for rain, maybe next week, root for the Canadian model. It has an inch of rain, otherwise just showers returning. But it does get much more interesting. I'll spend more time on that tomorrow, and I'm putting in some more pea plants today in the garden. The lettuce has doubled in size since yesterday. Where it is, we're getting a wildflower pasture here on the other side of this $13,000 fence. Cool. And we may or may not also have a walkway down to the West Augusta Beach shelf. Not sure exactly what's going on. We'll keep you posted. So many insects flying around all of a sudden. Also, you got to decide to prune or not to prune. Well, I would let this weeping cherry bloom before I prune. However, this rose needs a serious pruning. You can see it's growing pretty good too. Steve really wants to come out. I'm sorry, Steve, but it's very dangerous out here. Road right over there. $23 for Pussy Willow, already rooted. Well, make me an offer. You know where you can get a better deal. Anything that's out now in the nursery, you can put in the garden. It's pansy season for sure. Sunset Tours to Hull and over the Atlantic if you prefer. Oh. Contrails. Condensation trails. Mostly H2O, but a couple other chemicals in there. To be named later. Very mysterious. Another one. Follow that line. You can pass the jet. Yes. Wow. Lots of action up there, huh? T-Rex, what do you think? Just kick the ball. Get that ball.